Welcome to Flip the Switch with Allie, where, satire, reality, all that, it's all the same. So, today we're going to be talking about current events. So, we've been going through some pretty crazy times lately. And so let's see. Kanye West, we'll talk about him. There's some Jewish people that believe that they have found their Messiah. What does that mean for Christianity if they're correct? And what about the Jews that don't believe in that this is the current Messiah and why? We'll get into that a little bit. Of course, we have the situation with Russia going on, and then of course we have the things in Iran with women and being slaughtered and all that good stuff. So where is this world going right now? I noticed something not that long ago. I was on a friend's Facebook page, and he posted something that was religious. And here's what I was doing: scrolling through Facebook, and I see this thing, and it says sensitive content, and I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be something juicy, right? Because that's what sensitive content is. So I'm like amped up. I'm ready to see something awesome and gruesome. I don't know what it's going to be, but I click the button and I'm like, oh, yes. And it was just like something like a prayer or something like that. And I started wondering, like, why is that censored? It doesn't really make any sense because the United States, we should have, the freedom. We're supposed to be the freest country. So why don't we have the freedom to post things that we want to post? And why are things being so censored lately? It doesn't really make sense. So I know that in America, we do have some issues where a lot of people are upset over religion right now, or race, or gender. And it's not just one thing that people are arguing over. And I feel like our country is more divided now than it ever has been. And I just think it needs to come to a stop. So I decided that when you look at the government and the fact that we are pretty much divided into thought A and thought B, when most of us really feel somewhere in between. Why is it that we argue over politics and religion and even sports? It just doesn't make any sense, So with that, I've noticed that a lot of people seem to think that the government goes out of its way to create all of these distractions to keep us arguing with each other so that they could go about their business. And this is what I think it would look like. Let's go ahead and take a look at this this little skit that we did.
CIA, we need a distraction. Okay, all right, I'm on it. What's going on? That's classified information. I have classified clearance. You don't want to know. It's just safer if you don't. True, okay. All right. What if we do something with Facebook? Are people still on Facebook? Of course Facebook's still relevant. Boomers and millennials love that shit. I got an idea. What if we make all of their religious anything is sensitive, so you have to press a button to look at it as if it's something horrific. I like that a lot. Okay, that'll get them all riled up. Let's do it. Sensitive information. Click to look. It's just the Lord's Prayer. What is this? Well, they're trying to make it so that nobody is offended by anybody's religion, I think. Yeah, but this country was based on Christianity. Well, actually, you don't even know what you're talking about. Really? At least your people weren't ever banned from flying. What about that? This ain't right. You don't even know. I do know. You ain't got no right to come over here and tell me what I can put on my book. Well, I don't understand why you're so upset at me. Okay then. Did it work? Oh yeah. They're out there fighting dirtier than Mike Tyson on Holyfield. Yeah, actually, if we would have done it any better, we'd be looking at civil war. So there's no peace in the United States right now. Mission accomplished. Feel free to do whatever kind of classified, whatever you got to do. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
And that's how a lot of people think it goes. I mean, let's face it, there's been some pretty crazy things going on in the world lately. Let's start with 2020, for example. It was just thing after thing after thing. None of it good. I mean, I'm pretty sure it started with Kobe, and then we had COVID and killer wasps or whatever, gigantic killer wasps. I mean, so many different things that went on in 2020, and a lot of people said that it was to keep us distracted from certain other things. So what is it that they're keeping us distracted from, I think is the question we should all be asking, if that is true. So I know that we've went over, the CIA and how they've literally been, taking United States citizens and Canadian citizens, I should say, and doing experiments on them to try to create mind control. Well, what exactly is it that they need to control us for? And here's something that I had talked to somebody about not too long ago. So the United States is a capitalistic society. And although capitalism has, worked for a little bit, I think it's failing. So how are we going to be able to maintain capitalism if everybody that usually works and does all the laboring is too poor to buy anything because those people are also consumers, right? So if the 1% is up here and they have a lot of wealth and the worker people are all down here, how do they get more money if there's not much down here with us, Well, they have to try to keep everything in balance. And I feel like right now what they're doing is trying to make it so that they find out exactly how little we can live on while they keep on just taking more and more of the money and, feeding it up the tunnel up to them. It just doesn't really make sense to me. So if that's the case, and, maybe it's not. Maybe all this stuff is just happening, and it's not a big distraction. And maybe those people are wrong. But you got to admit, there's been some crazy shit that has been happening. So let's look at Kanye West right now. I do not like Kanye West. I've never liked Kanye West. I don't like his music. And that's just my personal opinion. However, when you look at Kanye West and the things that he's said recently, number one, I will never support any kind of anti-Semitic anything. I don't think that what he has said is right. However, a lot of people seem to agree with him, regardless of, who these people are, or, if it's basically just Fox News. I'm just saying, a lot of people do agree with Kanye and the things that he's saying about the Jewish people taking all the money. So a lot of those people are the ones that saying, oh, that's what they're distracting us from, is that Hollywood is a whole bunch of clones. And if you've heard of Orlando Brown and the things that he's said about Hollywood, that all of it's just a distraction, and all of the big elite people from Hollywood and all of the wealthy people from across the world, they're all in on this thing, and it's an Illuminati conspiracy. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'm here to see what you guys think. So if you have anything that you want to go ahead and speak on in regards to this, let's go ahead and talk about it. We'll get the number out there in the chat here in a minute, and you guys can call in and let us know what you think. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about, let's go ahead and talk about how women are being treated. Now, I'm going to sit here and say right now that I believe that a woman should have the right to choose any kind of medical decisions for her. And I'll leave it at that, because I think everybody knows what I'm saying. So on the other hand, we have some people believe that women should, stay in the house and make sandwiches or dinner and take care of the children. And, for people that find a mate that also believe that way and feel that way, that's great for them. It sounds like it would be a wonderful working relationship. But to sit there and make other people, put up with stuff like that, I don't think it's right. So a lot of people are arguing right now over things that should be taught in our school when it comes to relationships, gender, who people date and who they don't, and should this be brought up in school and whatnot. And people, of course, argue over it. Why? Is it just a distraction, or is it something that's actually valid to argue over? And what I'm here to say is that why can't we just talk about it? I want to say that for children that are in school that are learning about sex education at this point in time, I mean, what about that kid or two that's in the class that's like, well, how come everybody else likes boys when I like girls, or vice versa? You know, maybe they should have somebody that's going to tell them, you know, like, hey, those things are okay to feel and think, so that they don't feel alienated. That's a good thing. Did we get that phone number out there? Awesome. So you guys go ahead and feel free to call in at 419-971-4102. Call in, let us know how you feel, and you know, like, we'll go from there. I know, let's see. Why is the government taking so much money out of, I believe it's Social Security? So let's go ahead and talk about that for a second, now that somebody brought it up. So Social Security is something that when it was invented, it basically was like, yeah, you're going to pay a little bit into this, and you're going to be able to, you know, provide like a little bit of income for all of these elderly people, or, you know, disabled people. And so one person could, you know, afford to help 5 other people. And at this point in America, Social Security is becoming smaller and smaller. And, you know, it's more like 5 people need to pay into Social Security to help take care of one person. So that was my kid, by the way, if you heard that. So all these people that have put into Social Security all their lives, now they're turning around and they're making the age higher when people are able to retire and collect Social Security and retirement benefits. And so people that have put into Social Security this whole time, they're sitting there like, where's my money? Why don't I get what I was told that I would get? Now I have to wait another couple of years. And, you know, depending on the person, they might be like really hurting, you know, physically, and just wants to retire, and, you know, they can't. So what's happening with our country? What's going on with capitalism? Is it working? Is it failing? I mean, I think that we actually need to take a look at where we're going as a country, as a people. You know, we have a lot of people who want to argue over religion. So let's go ahead and talk about how there's a certain Jewish people, not all Jewish people, but some Jewish people believe that they found their Messiah. So there's a couple of requirements for somebody to be considered the Messiah. And the reason why the people who are Jewish today do not believe that Jesus Christ was the Messiah is because there's certain requirements that they believe he did not fulfill. One of them being that the Messiah is supposed to be a son of Abraham. So if Jesus Christ doesn't have a father, then how is he the son of Abraham? And then the Messiah is supposed to bring world peace. And they don't believe that Jesus brought world peace at that time. In fact, you know, the Romans ended up crucifying Jesus. So anyways, that's what I found out on my little journey while I was figuring out what this means exactly. And so I also looked up on TikTok, because why not do some research there? And I don't know many Orthodox Jews myself. So I found a lady who is an Orthodox Jew. And she said that she does not believe that this man is the Messiah because he hasn't brought world peace, for one. But a lot of people think that he has. So let's say that this is the Messiah. What does that mean? So to a Christian, would that mean that this is like the Antichrist? I just so happen to have a Christian in the studio. What do you say? He doesn't know. I don't know either. Well, let's say that this Jewish Messiah, all of a sudden people start. What's that? Right, and that's why I brought that up, because there's obviously no world peace, and that's why many people who are Jewish don't believe that this is their Messiah. But let's say that certain people do, and it makes it big enough to where people start thinking that this person is the Antichrist. This is one of the times when I have to say that religion is going to be harmful. I just want to paint a picture where I'm saying, I hope that it never comes to this, but what if it did come to this? What if somebody decided that this man needs to be killed because they think that he's, a false prophet or something of that nature? All I'm saying is, with the gun violence that we have in America and all the other things that are seemingly going wrong, where do we turn? What do we do from here? I don't know. But talking about gun violence, let's go ahead and bring up this little snippet of a point. So I saw somebody that made a point that they said, what if, gun problems in America are not actually problems with guns, but problems with men? I don't know why I never really thought about that before. I mean, I of course, I think it all comes down to mental health, whether it's a man's mental health or not. But, apparently 90% of gun violence is performed by men. And so, to put it in perspective, if we had a problem in the United States that affected 90% of one certain group of people, we would probably be looking into it. I mean, there was one point in time when Muslims were banned from flying from other countries into the United States. So, regardless of really the reason why, the point is that we have taken a group of people before and said, hey, just as a safety precaution, we're going to do this. But when it comes to, the gun violence in the United States, it always seems to be that it ends up being, a man that cannot control his emotions, which ironic. It is ironic because women are always blamed for not being able to control their emotions. So we have another question over here. Why is Medicare so expensive? I mean, really? I know that Obamacare was supposed to be put in place to try to make it a little more affordable for people to have health care, because in the United States we have to have health care, even though it's so expensive and the copays are so high that many of us don't even want to have anything to do with going to the doctor in the first place. And for many employers, they, provide this health care for people and they think, oh, it's great, I'm going to get health care, but then they have a heavy deductible and, how much of your paycheck comes out for your insurance. And I'll tell you right now, for insurance, just for me working at the hospital, it took out, I think, like a third of one of my paychecks every month. So it's a good chunk just to have decent health insurance. And I don't think it should be that way. There's so many people in the United States that are sick and dying and that really need help. And, instead of having the people there to help these sick and dying people, we're saying, hold on, okay, you're here. We're taking care of you, but we're sending you a bill later. So I hope that doesn't cause too much anxiety. It just doesn't really make sense. So again, people in the United States, we're supposed to be such a free country, and I'm glad to be here. I really am. But at the same time, I just feel like we could be better. And I'm not saying to make America great again. I'm saying we need to make America better from where we're at, and I think it's totally possible. I would love to see us just sit down and have a good old chat, maybe figure out, why the world has come to the place that it has, I think it would be a good start. Maybe if some world leaders sat down and talked about the issues that are going around in the world. So, what is going on in the United States? Being a woman, having health insurance, everything's expensive. Why has the cost of everything risen? Companies are seeing a higher profit margin now than ever in recorded history. Why? Well, let's take a look at what happened not that long ago. a lot of people decided that they did not want to sit around and work for peanuts, right? They said, we're not making enough money. And that's when the pandemic hit and people were like, you know what? I would rather be at home than deal with possibly getting sick and dealing with other people. And so people stopped working when 2020 happened, as I'm sure a lot of you know. And then, it devastated our economy, right? But when people started realizing, like, hey, I'm at home, I really like being here more than I like working, it changed a lot of stuff. People started working at home more often. And then some people just decided that they don't want to work anymore. And so in order to get people back into work, these companies that were desperate to have people to come and work for them, they started raising their wages. So at the beginning of this year, there's a Taco Bell not far from here that was hiring at $18 an hour. Hold on. Now, I could tell you right now that as a tech in the operating room, you make less than that at the time. What? You're telling me I can make tacos for more money than what somebody like genuinely helping somebody else live can make? That just doesn't make sense to me. There's something going on where we find it necessary to pay these athletes or these models or entertainers so much money for their entertainment. But then when it comes down to it, the people that are, first responders, police officers, people putting their life on the line to help other people, why don't they get paid more? Police officers have a dangerous job. Firemen have a dangerous job. Healthcare workers, they have dangerous jobs. And yet, there's people that are entertaining that make tons more money than these people ever will in a lifetime. It doesn't make sense. Even when a surgeon makes less money than, Michael Jordan. And even though he's Michael Jordan, why, It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. When we have people that are genuinely out there doing real good and it's not being rewarded the way that it should. Maybe we can do something to change that. I don't really have any answers, but, you guys have the phone number. If you do, you can give us a call. You can leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. What can we do to make this world a better place? We can love each other. That's a good start. That's probably the best start now that I think about it. So let's go ahead and go to a break. And when I come back, we're going to talk about a couple other current events. Here, Flip the Switch.
Do you or a loved one suffer from the inability to stop speaking? Do people cringe at the sound of your voice? Does the beginning of your sentence ever start in the middle of somebody else's? Well, Shut the Fuck Up might be the right thing you're looking for.
Man, Shut the Fuck Up is great. I take it everywhere. I used to be really bad at taking social cues in any situation. Girls wouldn't talk to me, they would just find me annoying. But anytime I'm at a party or any type of social gathering at all, I always have a piece of this bad boy with me. Best thing ever.
Here at Flip Switch Industries, we strive to make the world a better place by fixing people that society doesn't like. Incorrect and unpopular opinions are a thing of the past. Yeah, I tried Shut the Fuck Up. It was horrible. And then I tried to go back and get a refund, and these people were not listening to me. They said that they couldn't give refunds on a free sample. Well, you know what? It violated my rights. okay? It violated my rights, and I have every right to not be offended by telling, well, I just didn't want to be told to be shut the fuck up, okay? And then I got really mad because they wouldn't let me see a manager, and I brought out my phone and I told them, I said, you know what? You can all be Facebook famous. Is that what you want? Because let me tell you what, they were not listening to me. And what are you doing? What are you doing? What the fuck is this? I bet the boys back in the 1800s wish they had some of this for Sojourner Truth. Who did she think she was, always speaking up about equality? Apparently, she thought she was a woman.
We've been married going on 3 years now. It was a little bumpy in the beginning, wasn't it, honey?
Yeah.
We found Shut the Fuck Up and it solved all of our problems. We ain't gotta worry about that no more, do we, dear?
Yep, it sure did save our marriage. I used to have a lot of opinions and I would speak them out loud, which is really embarrassing for him, you know, for him not to speak for me. So that's just a problem of the past now, though, isn't it, honey?
It's totally in the past, sweetheart. We found Shut the Fuck Up and answered all of our problems. Nothing we gotta worry about anymore, do we, baby?
Nope.
Thanks, Shut the Fuck Up. I didn't tell you you could speak. Hey, you got a spare piece of that for me? There we go.
Shut the Fuck Up has reduced domestic violence by 30%, and our patented silencer technology is safe for everyone. Even kids can shut the fuck up. Don't tell my husband this, but when I really need a moment to myself and those kids just won't leave me alone, the kids can get some too. Shut the Fuck Up is sold at fine Walmarts across the United States, and it's cheaper than court costs.
Damn, girl, you looking sexy as hell. It's like an angel fell from heaven.
Hell no, Kyle. Flip Switch Industries, bringing us the technology that we all deserve. Do your friends or family members say racist things that they may not realize are racist? Well, we at Flip Switch Industries bring you a brand new product, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Bringing you Eraser Spray. I recently started dating a person of color, and although my family means well, some of the things that they say come across as slightly racist. So this is what I'd imagine every conversation would have been like. Daddy, this is my new boyfriend, Marcus.
Okay. I've got a Nigerian buddy I play golf with on Thursdays. So I see where you're coming from. His name's Robert. He's actually a really nice guy. He loves watermelon. We got some watermelon in the fridge if you'd like. My wife's making some fried chicken. We could actually switch the side to collard greens if you'd like. We actually season our food, so you'll probably appreciate that. It's nice to meet you, son. I hope you and my daughter enjoy each other.
Mom, this is my boyfriend. His name is Marcus. It is so nice to meet you. So we're making fried chicken tonight. That is perfect, I'm sure. You know, you do like fried chicken, right? We also have Kool-Aid. What's your favorite color? We have purple. I heard that you guys like purple, you know. Welcome to our house. Granny Mildred, this is my boyfriend. His name is Marcus.
Is that a colored boy that you brought over here? Your grandfather would be rolling in his grave right now. Billy, hide my purse. Oh, good Lord. Huh.
By applying Eraser Spray directly on a person or in a room, you'll get up to 4 hours of non-racist interaction.
That should work. Thanks to the eraser spray, this is what actually happened. Daddy, this is my new boyfriend. His name is Marcus.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you, Marcus. Hope you're staying for dinner. My wife's in the kitchen cooking it now. Come on in, have a seat, get comfy, put your feet up. Let's watch some football.
Mom, this is my boyfriend. His name is Marcus. Oh, Marcus, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you. We're so happy to have you for dinner. I hope you enjoy yourself. Granny Mildred, this is my boyfriend. His name is Marcus. It's nice to meet you. What a surprise. Hold on. Billy, go hide Granny's purse, okay? Yeah, and you know where to put it. Yeah. Oh, you picked one of the good ones. Honey, he's handsome. Good job. Uh-oh. Grandma's a little too racist for the spray. She might need something a little more concentrated. With eraser concentrate gel, apply directly to the skin. Ooh, that's thick. I like it. Ooh, it's a little salty. My grandma's a little intense, and you know, she's old school. You can't exactly teach an old dog new tricks. But thanks to the eraser concentrate, we took care of that problem. Come here, Granny, I want you to try some of this.
What's that?
Ooh. I got some in my mouth. Oh, it's salty, wet and thick. You know what that tastes like? That's a little much. Just rub it in your face. Yeah. Like that. Like this? Yeah, good job, Grandma. Oh, that feels real nice. I like it. It's good. Yeah. Got some on my chest. Poor Granny never knew what was coming. Granny Mildred, this is my boyfriend. It's so nice to meet you. Oh, you are so handsome. You know, you're making me blush. Oh, is it true what they say? Okay, I'm gonna go now. Have fun at dinner. Thanks, eraser spray. Eraser spray and eraser concentrate, brought to you by Flip Switch Industries, bringing the technology we all deserve.
So are you going to tell them where you obtained this genetic material and how you extracted it?
What, are you stupid? Yeah, let me just go out there and tell all of our customers, by the way, I extracted the genetic material of 1,000 people of color by hand and mouth. That's why my throat is so sore. Yeah, because, you know, that'll go over real well. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to tell them that. No. The show must go on, though. Hoarse voice or not, we're going to get this done.
So, what happens in a capitalistic society when birth control works really well and you're not having enough babies to, you know, produce people that can work for you and be consumers? Well, you might want to start passing legislation that makes it more difficult to obtain birth control. Or maybe if you made abortions illegal, you know, let me tell you what, if you made abortions illegal or very difficult to obtain, you know what you would end up with is a lot of children that will grow up in a household where they're unwanted, or they're going to be in foster care, because, you know, these people that are speaking out against abortion definitely are not speaking up to adopt. So let's be real honest here. One thing that you could do if you're not creating enough babies is, of course, make it more difficult for people to get rid of, you know, potential humans. And that could, you know, maybe create a little bit more people that will need to work later on in life, especially if they're, you know, in situations where they're not able to make a lot of money. They will probably work for little to nothing. And when you look at the economy of today's world, we can probably agree that when minimum wage was imposed, The cost of living was much less than it is now, correct? Of course it was. It was like the 50s. Like there was one breadwinner, and then there was a mom that could, take care of the kids, and, then, the grandma probably lived with them, and the dad was just the breadwinner, and he pulled himself up by his bootstraps, and, like Al Bundy just worked in a shoe store and like sold some shoes or something, or maybe he was a used car salesman slapping the roof with this bad baby will get you going from point A to point B and whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, back then, the economy was much better. So, as the cost of living rose to what it is now, minimum wage did not. And nowhere near did it raise the way that it should have to keep up with the cost of living. So now we're at a point where some people are saying that our economy now is actually worse than it was in the Great Depression. And, you wouldn't really think it to be that way because, you could be broke as hell on food stamps, but you could still have a huge TV in your house, and you could still have the internet and streaming service, and you could still have an iPhone. And so this is another way that they create divide between us, because you're taking a look at people who have things, right? And so they have a TV and they have an iPhone, but they also need assistance, getting food. So some people think that they should not have those nice things because people are concerned that their taxes are going towards these people's food, when if they didn't have food stamps, they could just sell their phone or whatever so that they can get food, that way. And so that's, where the term like pick them up by your bootstraps is just kind of failing right now, because I feel like first world poverty is nowhere near, what people generally think poverty is. So that's one way that people are also divided in this country. And when you look at, the fact that they're also trying to make bills that make it more difficult for even married couples to obtain birth control. When are we going to say that this is a little too much and too far and something that we need to talk about? Is enough enough? I know that the United States is not, it shouldn't be a country where women cannot have the freedom to have an abortion. It should be a woman's right to choose any medical decisions, even if she feels like she's not mentally stable enough to have a child, going through a pregnancy where her hormones are racing and, her mind isn't what it used to be because now she's pregnant. And on top of that, maybe she doesn't want to have this child and she wasn't able to obtain an abortion, or she wasn't cool. Let me see. Cool. Yep, cool. Yep.
Mom,
Cool. Yep, cool. That was Reese. Or, I guess you guys just got to see his butt cheeks. Not his cheeks, but anyways. So what happens when we have a society where, women are not able to make these decisions on their own, and they end up having these children that, either they think that they could take care of them and they end up not being the best of mothers, or, these children end up going into foster care where they're neglected. What about those kids, Are we really showing that we care about them if we care about their life and not what happens to them after they're out of the womb? I don't think that's a good quality of life. Excuse me. So I feel like there is a good possibility that people are looking at the fact that we're not keeping up our birth rate to where we can maintain a capitalistic society. And people at the top probably wouldn't like that. And what lengths would they go to make sure that they can obtain their capital? Are they going through those lengths? Is that stuff true? It's pretty plausible. I don't know. So speaking of the ultra wealthy, let's talk about somebody else that's been in the news lately. little troublemaker. Elon Musk. Okay, so let's talk about this guy. Now, he recently purchased Twitter, and he decided that he was just going to make it to where he's like, parodies are cool, so we're going to let Twitter be fun again, because he's not like the other moms. He's the cool mom. Like, that's so how I felt when I read that. I was like, oh, wow. I'm not like, the other CEOs. I'm a cool CEO. So it obviously that completely backfired on him. People were creating fake Twitter accounts to make funny quotes, and I mean, yes, it was parody, it was funny, but it got a little out of hand, and people ended up, even putting the little check thing on Elon Musk and quoting him as well. So he found out that didn't work very well. Now, let's talk about how when he purchased Twitter, he fired a ridiculous amount of people that were working at Twitter, okay? And the way that he fired them, I hate to say that it's epic, because epic sounds like epic, like it's great, but this is an epic what the fuck is what this is, okay? He actually sent memes out and GIFs in email saying, "You're fired." As if these people are going to be like, "Oh, that's so funny that he fired me that way." Like, not even in person or anything. He just fired me over email or text message with a meme. That Elon Musk, he's so freaking funny, dude. No, these are engineers and people that have worked with this company for many, many years. And they're outraged because, they're like, why would he do that? I've been a good employee and whatnot. So of course, Elon Musk is going to do what he has to do to make money because he's an entrepreneur and that's what they do. However, I mean, you can have a little bit more respect for the people that you're firing than that. However, he ended up having to ask a lot of those people to come back because he realized that he couldn't take it all on with the minimum amount of people that he thought he could. So I guess it just kind of backfired on him just a little bit. And so yeah, he's kind of up in fire right now, fire and flames. And I don't mean, like Guitar Hero. No. He's not doing too hot in the social business. So another thing I wanted to bring up too is let's take a look at the Earth. So there's a lot of people in I'll say that it's obviously not people that want to be green or want to save the Earth, but there's people out there, and you can come to your own conclusions on the people that I'm talking about, but I'll just explain them to them this way because it could really be anybody. But there's a certain group of people that don't seem to think that the Earth is worth saving because they either think that, the Earth is going to be destroyed soon for one reason or another, or that they themselves are not going to be on this Earth for much longer, so there's no point in saving it. However, there's many people who look at the fact that we only have one Earth, and this is where we live. This is our home. We don't have anywhere else to go to. So let's say, we are going to be on this Earth for a while. We should probably look into taking care of it, right? So with and this all kind of ties together. Hear me out. With the cost of everything rising, because like I was saying earlier, you have these people at Taco Bell that are making more money than they've ever made before, and it's still not really enough for them to live. But they're making much more money than they ever have before. So with that being said, a lot of people think, well, of course they're going to bring up the cost of everything else because of that, because these companies are paying more money to their employees. So who's going to pay for it? The consumer. Here's the thing, though. Profit margins, like I said, are up higher than they ever have been. So they didn't just raise the prices because they're paying their employees more. No, actually, that didn't really affect their profits much. Not like, how much they raised their prices for everything. So in general, companies in the United States have hit a profit margin that's higher than it ever has been before. So gas prices are astronomical right now. They're higher than they've ever been, which, I guess along with inflation and everything else that's going on, you can expect that. And then, of course, there's the oil crisis right now where it's like, where are we going to get our oil from? So you need gasoline to bring products to anywhere, okay? And here's what I'm saying. That alone is going to bring the cost of everything up, right? And then you've also increased wages, which shouldn't really affect, as much as it is, but apparently they're saying it is. And even with that, their profit margins are still ridiculously high. So people are looking to save money any way they can nowadays. And can you really blame any of us? We're broke, dude. Like, I don't understand. We are so broke. How is it that the wealthy keep on becoming more wealthy when so many people are broke? So many people that are trying to make their small businesses, their businesses are failing because nobody can afford to buy their products that they spent all this time to make. It's just sad. I really like small businesses. I support small businesses. And I think that, small businesses it should be the backbone of America, but it's not. It's corporations. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why capitalism isn't really functioning very well right now. So we have all these people that are being told that they must create other people, and they're poor. And they're like, I don't even have money to feed myself, much less another people. So great. Now people are probably not going to, get down to scrumping as much as they used to. And let's face it, that's sad too. What's coming? What is happening right now? It just doesn't make any sense. So then you come down to it, and people are starting to realize that, I'm going to say it right now. Nikola Tesla discovered a way to create energy for free, right? Thomas Edison was like, why would you do that when you could profit off of it, right? And Nikola Tesla was like, because I want to do good things for humanity, right? Edison was like, no, dummy, we're going to profit off of this. And Nikola Tesla wasn't having it. So Nikola Tesla got cut out of, everything that he discovered. And until Elon Musk started making Tesla cars, people didn't know who Nikola Tesla was. And that's sad because he did contribute a lot to where we are today. I'll say that much. So if there's a way to create free energy, and they believe that it's possibly the same technology that the ancient Egyptians used the Great Pyramids for. Some people believe that the Great Pyramids could very well be an energy source. So if there's ways that we could create energy for free, why are we still burning coal, which is tearing up the environment, right? And if we're not and if we're not just using coal, of course we're using gasoline to bring the coal to the plants, to the electric company plants to make the electricity. So a lot of people are sitting there scratching their heads now, and they're like, solar, right? Why not? So the government is sitting there and they're like, you know what? We're going to make it so that people could go solar. That's what we're going to do. So at this point in time, it is actually cheaper for most people in the United States to switch to solar and have solar panels put on their roof than it is for them to even keep the electric company and to stay with their current electric company. People are paying electric bills that are on average like $200 a month, and they go up to like $400 a month. And I'm not talking about for super wealthy people. I'm talking about like regular middle class working people. Why should anybody pay an electric bill that's high? Why do we have monopolies with electric companies? Think about it. Did you get to decide who you got your electricity from? I didn't. In fact, I've lived in many different states, and yet no place that I've ever lived have I ever had the option to choose my electric company. Isn't that a monopoly? Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And then when you read your electric bill, there's a million surcharges and things that you don't even know where they're coming from. So let's get back into politics and why people argue over stupid shit. You have certain people that are sitting there saying that they don't want to have anything to do with a Green Deal or Biden's Green Deal. And those are like, strong-minded Republicans. And they're more than welcome to that, sentiment. And then you have other people that are like, well, not only are they making it more affordable, but it's also for the earth. Why are we arguing over this? We all live here. We should all want to take care of the earth, regardless of your politics. But, hey, we're in America, and this is how we do shit here, because why not? It only makes sense. So, along with the rising costs of everything, and the fact that everything is unaffordable right now, you can go to school, but you'll end up with how much debt. You can't even afford to be sick because you go to the hospital and you're charged so much for your hospital stay that a lot of people just can't afford to be sick. They would rather stay at home and risk dying than go to the hospital and have to pay, who knows how much. Let me tell you something. I had never had a sty in my eye before, so bear with me. I wake up and my eye is sore, and I look in the mirror and I notice my eye is a little swelly on the side, and I'm like, what the hell? It's my eye. It's not like it's my finger or something. It is my eye. And I'm like, oh man, my eye really hurts, and it's all red and it's all swollen right here. And so I couldn't go to urgent care because it was like a Sunday or something like that, and I had to go to work that day. So I went to the hospital. And I just went to the one across the street from my house. It wasn't the one that I worked at. I just needed something really fast. And this was the fastest hospital that I knew of. I did not see a doctor. A nurse came in my room with a pen light, looked in my eye. She's like, I don't see anything in your eye. She opened my eye. She looked. She saw it was red. She said, here's a prescription for some eye drops that I never even filled. And she's like, yeah, if you have any other problems, come back. I was in and out of that emergency room in 15 minutes. And like I said, I would have went to urgent care or even my doctor, but it was my eye, so I didn't want to wait that long for the urgent care to open up or to see my doctor. So I, in 15 minutes, accumulated a bill that was, I think it was like $5,000, $6,000, something like that. Why? One nurse, one pen light, $6,000. It doesn't make sense. And I didn't even get the prescriptions. And then I found out later that it was a sty in my eye because like it actually got a little bigger, and I looked it up and I was like, wow, I feel stupid now. But it hurt pretty bad, and I didn't know what a sty was. So anyways, I'm just saying, why do we charge so much for healthcare? Why is it that pharmaceutical companies are making so much money? Why is it that we're more concerned with being argumentative with each other over politics and shit that shouldn't even matter, rather than looking at the big picture, which is that we are all human beings. We are all on this earth together. None of us should think that we're better than anybody else. We all need health care. We all need to be healthy and happy. And yet we would rather sit here and argue with each other over stupid shit. It just doesn't make sense to me. So that's what I have to say. I mean, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have anything else that you want to say, feel free to like, comment, share, leave a comment down below and let us know how you feel about how today's show went. Might have been a little bit more of an angry show, but I can't help it. I'm really just disgusted with all the things that I see, current events, and I couldn't think of anything else that I would rather talk about today than how horrible things have ended up. So Next week, we're going to end up on a little more positive of a note. We're going to bring the beat up a little bit, and we're going to talk about something happy. Like, Christmas. Because I love Christmas. And I listen to Christmas music, even if it's July. Why? Because I don't think that I should have to wait a whole year to hear Jingle Bells. Okay, that's why. But we'll see you next week because we're going to have a couple different episodes over Christmas. And I think it's going to be the shit. So we'll see you then.